everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking Wheel of Time show news, leaks, and speculation. 3 of my favorite things to do all in one video, so I'm pretty excited to do that. Now, if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here. We cover Wheel of Time show news, we also talk about the book series, and we feature members from the community and do interviews. So if any of that is up your alley, make sure you click the subscribe button and the notification bell. We usually put out 1 or 2 videos per week, and they're all Wheel of Time centric. Now stay tuned at the end of today's video. We're featuring Lucky Arrow Designs. They are a member of the Wheel of Time community that does laser engraving and wood art, and they're starting, just like a lot of other Wheel of Time community members, to fill the gaps left behind by no Wheel of Time merchandise. So make sure you hang out at the end of the video. We'll show you how you can get hold of the products, where to purchase them, and exactly what a couple of them are. I have some up here that I'm going to bring out at the end of the video and show you. Now, normally at this point I give a spoiler warning, but there's only one thing that's even a little spoilery in today's entire video, and that's an image from Season 2. So I'll save the spoiler warning to just before I put that image out. Other than that, the entire video is pretty much spoiler-free, so if you haven't read the book series or seen the Prime Video show, you're not really going to be ruined or spoiled by anything in today's video. Now, with that being said, let's get on to the rest of the video. So there's 2 major questions most Wheel of Time fans have right now, and the first one is why have we been waiting so long for Season 2? And the second one is, when is it coming out? When are we going to see Season 2? The first question, I think I have an answer for. The second question, we can speculate, some informed speculation of when it's going to come out. Now, for those of you who follow the channel for quite some time, you probably remember way back when, right at the end of Season 1 in December of 2021, I said my sources were telling me that Season 2 would not air until late first quarter, early second quarter 2023. Now, back then, that seemed like pure lunacy. We were all thinking that there's no way they'd wait that long. We would probably get it a full year after the release of the first season, so probably November of 2022. Well, November came and gone, and we didn't see it. We're also seeing all these articles pop up right now by people saying, is it coming out this month? No, it's not coming out this month. So you see them all over Facebook and sometimes on Reddit. There's all kinds of posts. Is Wheel of Time coming out this month? No, it's not. So you have to understand that they did a marketing blitz a few months prior to the release of Season 1. They didn't do a great job marketing it, and I was very critical of it at the time, and I still am very critical of their marketing because it hasn't been done very well. But they did do some marketing. They released a trailer a couple of months out. They did some marketing. You've seen some billboards, some posters. You did seen some interviews with the cast, things of that nature. So if we were within 2 or 3 months of the release of Wheel of Time, I think we would know right now. We would have already seen a teaser. We would have already seen maybe a trailer. We would have seen interviews with the cast, billboards, things like that. And we'll probably get the release date around the same time we get the trailer. Ish. That's my guess anyway. So it's probably not late first quarter, early second quarter 2023 like my sources were telling me. That coupled with the fact that Rafe Judkins recently did an interview with Dragonmount, and he said that the show's coming out this year, but that's pretty much all he said. He wouldn't give us even a time frame. He wouldn't say it's coming out in the summer. He wouldn't say it's coming out in the fall. He just said it's coming this year. He doesn't know when. And honestly, I think that perhaps Amazon doesn't know when it's going to release. Or maybe they do now, but they haven't for a while. And that's to do with the first answer. Why have we been waiting so long for the Wheel of Time Season 2 to premiere? And I think that has a lot to do with the post-production studios and the VFX houses and people that handle CGI and whatnot. They're super backed up right now. A ton of different projects, whether they be for streaming services, just regular cable, or big studios, they're demanding their time for a lot of CG. A lot of stuff that's going on right now, especially because of COVID and different things that are happening in the world, are CG heavy. It's just the way it is. And we know that Season 2 of the Wheel of Time will be incredibly CG heavy because it deals with the One Power, Shadow Spawn, and a bunch of other things that they can't really do practical effects for. So there's going to be that. Now, they're probably in line along with everyone else waiting for a lot of this stuff to get done. So maybe, just maybe, over the last year or so, they really didn't know when it was going to be finished. Because if you give a studio a timeline and say finish it by this date, you're going to get what we saw in episodes 7 and 8 of the first season, which is, well, to put it mildly, it wasn't pretty. CG in those episodes wasn't pretty, and I've been told that they're going to try to redeem themselves and really go to town with the CG on Season 2, which I'm happy with. That doesn't mean we're going to be waiting. Now, the second question is, when are we going to get Season 2? And again, like I said earlier, informed speculation only. We can pretty much guess that my sources had told me late first quarter, early second quarter. They're out the window right now. Rafe is telling us sometime this year. But we had Geekiary post this a couple of weeks ago, and essentially Geekiary, if you don't know who she is, she's a member of the WAT series team, and she's great at sleuthing, and she's really, really good at digging stuff up, and all of her guesses and informed speculation are usually pretty spot on. So what she's saying that there's usually one big release per month on Amazon Prime, which is 100% true. In January, it was The Rig. I've seen it. Absolutely fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a really, really good show. February is Vox Machina. February, March was Carnival Row. March was The Power. There wasn't anything slotted for June. There still really isn't a big name slotted for June to come out. Summer was Good Omens. August, maybe Gen 5. Late 2023, Invincible Season 2. So June seemed likely. Now, couple that with the fact that the audiobook that's narrated by Rosamund Pike, who plays Moiraine Sedai in the series, is coming out the first week of June, and you can pre-order it right now. June seems a little likely because they did the same thing with Season 1. So the audiobooks narrated by Rosamund Pike for The Eye of the World came out a couple of weeks prior to the release of Season 1. And I think that's completely on purpose because they can do dual marketing for both of them. They can talk about them a little bit. It'll definitely drive book sales. So I think June is a fairly safe bet at this point for when Season 2 will coming out. I would not be shocked if it's later, 100% not shocked at all, because they can shuffle their lineup around anytime they want. So if they get a little bit closer and we find out, hey, perhaps maybe some of the CG and the post-production work isn't done just yet, they might push it even further. All right, so now we're talking about castings. Now, Amazon and Sony don't generally release many castings. In the lead up to Season 1, we've seen quite a few of the main characters release as castings on Twitter, and then they kind of stopped that a few months out from the show being dropped. So there were a ton of main casts and tertiary casts that were never announced and still haven't been announced, even though we've seen them on screen in the first season. You know who they are via the credits or seeing, you recognize them, but they were never actually announced. It's not entirely odd for a company to not announce every single cast member, but some of the big ones, I was a little confused that they didn't announce. Now, for Season 2, they've announced a couple of big cast members, but not very many at all. Certainly not near as many as they did for Season 1. So I'm hoping when it comes out to marketing materials in the next coming months, prior to the release of Season 2, we start seeing some of the castings of more major characters for Season 2, including some of the Forsaken that we know are in the show, but we don't know who's playing them. Now, why am I saying all that? Well, it's because WhatSeries.com comes out with way more castings than Amazon or Sony ever could. So if you like castings, if you like Wheel of Time news, they are great at sleuthing, they are great at digging stuff up, and I've left a link to their website down below in the description box. Please go check them out. Not only are they friends of mine, they're very, very good at what they do. And think about this one. So, Czech model and actor has been cast in the role of young man. Now, they're guessing he's going to appear in episode 1 or 2 of the second season. That's mainly due to the director listed in his CV, but they're not 100% sure in that. Now, do I think this gentleman will have a big role in Season 2? No, I don't think so. I think it'll be a smaller walk-on role, maybe a line or two, because generally when someone lists them as like young man or different generic terms on their CV, it means it's not really that big of a role. They may not even have a name in the show. But it's still pretty neat, and they are like releasing a lot of different cast members, so please go over to their website, bookmark their page, and check back quite often. All right, now we're going to talk about this. Sharon Gilman, if you don't know, is the costume designer for Season 2 of The Wheel of Time. Now, she has not been confirmed for Season 3 officially just yet, although the likelihood of her doing the costume design for Season 3 is pretty high. She's with a lot of the cast, the crew, the production team on social media, and she's still traveling a lot for her job right now, so my guess is she's probably going to be doing costume design for Season 3, but we're not 100% on that, so take what we're going to say next with a grain of salt. But on our social media, she was recently in India. And when asked why she was there, she said she was on the hunt for fabrics and jewelry for the job she's doing, which is really very neat. Now, really good costume designers, and we've seen some of her designs in the teasers they've released for Season 2 so far, take inspiration from real-world stuff. So I've released videos here on the channel, behind-the-scenes stuff from the sets of Falmo, where they're doing the big battle. All of that stuff in the background, all of that was real stuff. Whether it would be the trinkets they're selling, the rugs, the pottery, the jewelry, all of that in behind the scenes was actually things either fabricated for the show or things that are actually sold in open air markets, which is really very cool. So Sharon going to a place like India to get design for some of her costumes makes me think that perhaps we're going to see a culture in Season 3 that is inspired by India, which would be really, really very cool. So I'll leave it up to you folks in the comments down below. Let me know which places we're going to see in Season 3 that might be inspired by India. Now, is it going to be some of the borderlands? Are we going to see maybe Saldea, different things like that? Let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to be inspired by some of the things she's hunting for there. Now, I do want to say again, take this with a grain of salt, because we're not entirely sure. It hasn't been officially announced she's working in Season 3, and I don't know if she's there hunting for stuff for the Wheel of Time, but if I had to put money on it, I would say she probably is. All right, so the last piece of news we're going to talk about today before we jump into the leaks is this. It's not entirely Wheel of Time related, but Harriet McDougall, Robert Jordan's widow, has donated a bunch of money to the Citadel, which was Robert Jordan's alma mater, to set up a scholarship for electrical engineering students, which is really very neat. Now, James Rigney Jr. was a student there many, many years ago, and she's setting up a scholarship in his honor, which is absolutely very cool. And I've left a link to that article down below in the description box if you want to read all the details about it. It's really very neat this is happening, and there is a scholarship there in Robert Jordan's name, which is, in my opinion, pretty cool. Now, the next thing we're talking about is spoilery. So if you don't want to know anything about Season 2, if you don't want to see any images from Season 2, because we're going to showcase an image from Season 2 next, make sure you jump ahead about 2 minutes or so. I'll leave the time tag down below in the description box if you folks just want to jump over the next part to get to Lucky Arrow Designs' really cool laser engraved woodwork. But spoiler warning, in this next section we're showcasing an image from Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. Now this image originally comes to us from Watch Show Leaks, and it showcases what we think to be some villagers in Falma. Alright, if you want to see the image, here it is. Alright, so this is an image that was recently posted on the Reddit Watch Show Leaks, and it is believed to be an image of the villagers of Falma. Now, here on the channel, I've released a ton of different stuff about Falma. Set videos, videos of them practicing the battles, actual videos of them filming, pictures, things like that. And this seems to fit not only the backgrounds and the motif of the set, but also of the costumes that are in all of those other images and videos that we have here. So I'd say the likelihood of this being actually taken in Morocco and is from the set of Falma is pretty high. But it's really very neat, and these are probably just some villagers in between shoots, which is really very cool. All right, so we're talking Lucky Arrow Designs. They're a Wheel of Time fan that has a wood signs and a custom art shop. Now, they don't just do Wheel of Time stuff. I want to get that out of the way in the beginning. So they do a bunch of different fandom stuff, and they do custom stuff too. So if you want custom things made, they can definitely do that for you. But they have stuff from like Doctor Who. You can see the TARDIS there on the screen. They have stuff from Seinfeld. They have Festivus signs, if you remember that stuff. There's all kinds of different things there. Here on the screen, you can see the Westlands Randland map. It's burned in wood. They have an Aiel water and shade sign. They have a bunch of really neat stuff. Now, I've left links to all of their sites down below. So they have an Etsy, they have an eBay, they have their own site, and a bunch of different avenues where you can purchase their products. So I've left links to all that. I've also left links to the specific Wheel of Time things down there. So if you want something other than Wheel of Time, go check their sites out. But if you want to pick up, say, a map of the Westlands, the Aiel water and shade sign, or a couple of things that I have here, like this dragon, which is really very cool, very well made. Now these things are sturdy, they're detailed, they're really, really nicely made. I've left links individually to all of the Wheel of Time stuff down below. If you just want to click on the links, you can go right to it and order it from them there. Now the Snake in the Wheel, they only sell on their eBay site. They don't sell it anywhere else, so I've left a link that down below as well. Now, with the big gaps in Wheel of Time merchandise right now, Sony's in charge of merchandising for the show. There's not really much official merch out there. There's a couple of sweaters, some t-shirts. I think you can get a DVD of the first season that has 0 extras on it. It's completely bare bones. Or a Blu-ray, I guess. They're selling Blu-rays of it too. You can get probably the coolest things you can get right now are from Jalek Blades, which is a Hairmark blade. You can get that from them. You can get the Legacy Aes Sedai rings, which personally I think look absolutely way better than the show rings from Bandai Jewelry. And other than that, there is a vinyl of the soundtrack. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any other Wheel of Time merchandise out there right now that's surrounding in relation to the show or even the books. There's not much at all. So fans like Lucky Arrow Designs are filling in the gaps. So if you have a merchandise shop, a site that you sell Wheel of Time stuff on, I definitely want to feature here in the channel. The more we hold each other up in the Wheel of Time community, the better we all are. Plus, let's face it, everyone that watches this channel, including myself, we love Wheel of Time. That's why we're here. So seeing this kind of things is absolutely a joy to see other fans making Wheel of Time art and products. And of course, having them is even better. So these things are absolutely really cool. So again, I've left links to all their stuff down below in the description box if you folks want to check them out. Go support another Wheel of Time fan and pick up some Wheel of Time stuff. They're great gifts. I know a ton of people on my Twitter got that Westlands map for Christmas, and they were really, really happy about it when they got it. So might be a good gift for someone special in your life that likes Wheel of Time. Now, all of that being said, thank you all so very much for sticking with us here to the very end, and here's to many more.